Hey guys, so I just wanted to talk about something goofy about this meta. So, a lot of people are playing a lot of decks that are kind of like this, so I'll explain. So, my opponent here has 3 Maxi and 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and then they have 1 Impermanence. But even worse yet, they're playing 60 cards, right? So the odds of them drawing into a hand trap, not that high. They might just have 1 in hand, and that's about all you can expect out of them. So going first against this guy, easy FTK target. The only thing you have to worry about is basically if this guy has Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Aside from that, nothing really matters. Like, even if they max you, they only have Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. If you can play through literally just 2 hand traps, you can just FTK the guy and that's it. You win. Not much else to say. So then we'll go down one. And this guy is now playing tier limits. So this is just as bad. So like, for example, with this guy is playing DD Crow, let's assume you actually just don't care about DD Crow. In like for your FTK, DD Crow is irrelevant. Then the amount of hand traps this guy has is essentially like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to include like Havness. Well, I'm not hovering over Havness. This one is Havness. And Havness can completely whiff. So Havness has targets. So Rhino can sometimes be like okay, but that requires you to have a tier name in hand. Might have one, might not, whatever. So we won't worry about Rhino too much. So if you mill either a Kelbeck or an Yugioh, and then you have Sharon, Havness, Merly. So that's like 5 cards you can mill, and then these 2 for a total, well, these pairs of 2, so that's 4. So that's like 9 cards total. So if they don't mill exactly what they need, basically, and if they whiff on any of these 9, which it's actually a pretty decent chance that they whiff, assuming they had Havness in the first place in their hand, then even if this guy hits you with the Maxi, Imperm, whatever, it's pretty irrelevant. The most relevant hand trap this guy has is if this guy activates Maxi and then like activates Herald of Orange Light later. That's about it, but because of this build of the deck, you know, Herald of Orange Light is at 1, so by the time like you should get to Herald of Orange Light, or they should draw into a Herald of Orange Light, you probably have like at least 1 negate for this, and then you just FTK them and you're just solid. Yep. And a lot of the decks are actually like this. They just have no counterplay to just getting straight up FTK'd, basically. So we have some more hand traps here. So a lot of the hand traps that are being played are not like super relevant. So like Dimension Shifter can probably stop an FTK, I guess. So, this actually, yeah, that's about it. The Maxi, if you activate Maxi and then draw into Shifter, Shifter is completely dead, of course. If you Ash Blossom and then like Shifter, once again, it is dead, of course. And then you have like copies of Imperm. There's like more resistance than the other lists here, so doesn't say much. But same thing with this one, but this one has less hand traps than the other one. You have basically, if you want to include Crow, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you have 7, 8, and then like 9, 10. So if you just get a little resistance, you just have an easy a bunch of FTK targets. Granted, you have to win the coin flip, but if you do, like, a lot of the decks here are so like built for going first that their hand trap ratios are actually just lacking. Like even here, we have 1, 2, 3, and that's literally it. There's like nothing else, and I wouldn't really count Kelbeck as a hand trap, though. I mean, it kinda is, but whatever. probably not going to be relevant against an FTK. But yeah, like look at this. 3 hand traps here and then 2 here for 5 total. So even if this guy maxes you, you can literally just set up Scythe Block and it's like pretty much free here. There's not much this guy can do. Like, just for example, you know? And the deck isn't good at board breaking either. It's got nothing going for it. I don't know if this is the same list as one I showed before. No, it wasn't, right? They just all look similar because they're all tier lists. So, yeah, same thing. Barely any hand traps. Like, Herald of Orangelay is kind of coin flippy, but pretty much this guy either has to have, like, Imperm or Haveness just off rip, or there's a high chance that you can just FTK this guy, like, outright. And let's go check out what this guy's playing. Ah, also tier. You can tell it's a different list because this guy's not playing Window. So this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, playing a little bit more, but same thing. If this guy draws into Mexi, or like just an Imperm and an Ash Blossom and Joe Spring, if you just FTK through this, because there's a good chance that your opponent doesn't even know they're being FTK'd first off. So and FTKs are not as linear as like a tier limit deck, I guess. So the route to the FTK is not completely apparent. So they can definitely whiff a choke point against like a consistent FTK and just completely lose the duel, like assuming they're going second, because a lot of their cards, once again, going first cards or just cards that only really work during their turn. So I'll just go ahead and show off how many of those cards we have here. So 1, and then we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, I miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10, 11, 12. This guy's missing some Ishizu cards now that I notice. And then we are at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So, like, about 1/3 of this guy's cards have any impact going, like, well, actually, not even. It's like about 1/4 almost. 1/4 of this guy's cards are going second cards, basically. Or have any impact going second. So, the odds are they only have one, like, interaction if they're going second. Maybe 2. That's pretty much what's going to be expected. So, making us somewhat, like, hand trap resistant, like, it just has to be a little resistant. It has to be able to tank, like, maybe 1 to 2 interactions, and then boom, you can FTK your opponent. There's like absolutely nothing they can do. Of course, Maxi is basically air, as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't really do much. So, if your opponent hits you with like an Ash Blossom later, you probably have enough setup that the Ash Blossom doesn't matter anymore. So, yeah. But, yeah, honestly, Maxi just doesn't do much. In fact, Maxi is basically not even a hand trap as far as I'm concerned. Like, because of the low ratios of hand traps being run anyways. Like, look at this guy's build. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you have your 2 copies of Haveness, and that is that is it. That's all you can interact with. And because of that, your opponent's not going to be able to like do anything basically. If you disregard Haveness, this guy only has infinite impermanence. Keep in mind, this is Diamond, by the way, so yeah. Diamond players are clearly free and easy FTK targets. Like, look at this. completely free. Like, if you just drop maxes on me, cool. You have 3 infinite impermanence. You think I really won't set up, like, any kind of, like, interaction or protection against this? Or be able to set up enough that you can't stop me with a single impermanence? Because, realistically, the impermanence is, like, all you've got, right? So then I can just drop an FTK. So, what I'm saying in short is, unban Supreme King Starving Venom. He deserves it. Anyways, because you banned Instant Fusion. I don't think he can FTK. But I mean, even if he could, still unban him. Deserved. And if Necroface does some, like, FTK shenanigans, good. I think, with the state of how the game is, FTK should be, like, more of something we're allowed to do here. That will force our opponents to play more going second cards, and that actually does have an effect against tier. Once I find a tier list, that didn't take long. So, the thing about tier is they're getting away with playing a lot of going first cards, and not enough going second cards. So, the strongest going first turn you can ever do in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to simply FTK your opponent, of course. So if we just look at it real fast, this card does nothing, this card does nothing, this card does nothing. None of these cards can do anything if your opponent just gets straight up FTK'd, pretty much. Like, it invalidates, like, 90% of this guy's deck. Literally, none of these cards in this dude's deck will get to interact with you. The one that's most likely to be able to interact with you is this copy of Infinite Impermanence. And then, like, maybe this copy of Herald of Orange Light. Maybe. And then DD Crow if they feel like activating it, I guess. But shouldn't be too hard just to get a DD Crow resistant, like, DD Crow resistant, like, FTK, I guess. Make, like, an early Apo, and that handles, like, most of what they can do anyways, and then it's just, like, an Imperm, maybe. But you can actually play around Imperm by giving your opponent a monster, which is, like, something FTK can typically do. And, for example, I'll just say Bishbaalkin. If you know, you know. So, yeah. I think it might be appropriate to just set up an FTK that can also, like, a solid FTK that has a going second game plan as well. If you can do that, all of these decks, you just brutalize them. You destroy them. So I guess I get it. Better get to work and start building this deck. It's probably doable, so not a big issue. So I'll see you guys when I finish, I guess. Or I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.